Hello everybody, welcome to Bobonomics. I'm Bobo, and this video is going to be an analysis over the Yu-Gi-Oh! 2020 Tin of Lost Memories that I ordered a case of earlier in August. I'm basically going to get into how much I paid for 12 tins, the cards I opened, how much they're worth, and if I actually made any money opening all of these tins. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll have a general idea on if this is worth the time and effort to buy a case of something and then resell the cards from it. So let's get right into it. For the 2020 Tin of Lost Memories, they retail at $19.99. I bought a case, which is 12 tins in one big box. I only opened 10 tins. I basically traded a card for a tin, and then I kept one sealed. We're only going to be counting cards that I actually opened, so I only opened 10 tins, so all the cards that I'm mentioning here are only pulled from those 10 tins, so there's 2 that are unaccounted for. But for all 12 of the tins, I paid about $190 for the whole case. So I basically got each tin at less than $16 when it retails for $20, which is a pretty good deal, I guess. Now let's look at the cards I pulled and the actual value of them to see if the value of the cards is more than the value of all the tins unopened. Just for reference, here are 2 videos on my channel. One's a good tin and one's a bad tin, and I just open the packs and see what cards I get, so you have an idea of what cards I'm talking about and what an average tin looks like and the value in each one. Basically, the absolute worst tins have cards that are only worth like $10 collectively, and the best tins can be like $70 collectively. So here's a short list of what I actually pulled for my own tins. Like I said, you can check some of the videos and see some of these cards that I'm listing off now. So I got 2 Red Eyes Dark Dragoons, which are over $40 each, 2 Pot of Extravagances, which are over $20 each, 2 IP Mascarenas, which are about $10, 2 Apollosa Bow of the Goddesses, which are about $11, 2 World Legacy Guard Dragons, 2 Fantastical Dragon Phantasmes, or actually just one of those, 2 Signet Minings, which are about $2, Phantasmes about $4 by the way, 3 No Materials, and 1 Striker Dragon, and then all of the World Premiere cards. This list is basically most of the $1 and up cards that I pulled. Remember, this is only from 10 tins, because one of them I sold to another person, and another one I kept sealed for myself. So all in all, you can see with all the higher dollar cards that I pulled, and even including the commons and the rares and all that stuff, the card values I pulled are easily over $210. If I was able to sell every single card at market price, I would easily get over $250 for all of them. But realistically, it's basically impossible to sell commons because nobody really buys commons unless, you find someone locally that is looking for those cards. Online, it's not worth to ship something for 55 cents or more just to sell a 20-cent card. So outside of the cards that are really low rarity and basically worth nothing, I basically got $200 easily worth of cards that I could sell. So now we can see with some really quick math, if I paid about $190 for the whole case, and in 10 tins I made $200, then I obviously profited at least, $20. Out of 10 tins, I'm already breaking even, and with the 2 extra tins, I'm clearly going over what I paid. So I definitely made profit, but now let's factor in, is it worth selling, and after seller fees and shipping, how much do I actually make? So in real life, I actually kept a lot of the high dollar cards, or sold them to my brother or something for cheap, because they're actually cards that are desirable that I want to use and play, or just have in my collection. But let's pretend I want to sell every single high dollar card that I can sell. So if I sold the cards that were on the list, for example, earlier in the video, if I sold all of those cards, let's factor in about 15% out due to shipping and seller fees. My real profit is actually way lower. So selling just the easy high dollar cards that people will definitely buy, you make about $174 just selling the high dollar cards easily, and then you have a bunch of cards left over that you're probably going to have to sell extra to actually make up that difference. But remember, I only opened 10 tins, and these cards are only from those 10 tins. So realistically, I only paid about $160 for 10 tins. So if I liquidate my high dollar cards fast, I still easily make profit even after the 15% seller fees and shipping. So let's say I make $10 easily net profit selling just the high dollar cards. Is that actually worth your time and money and effort? I would say if you have no use for the commons and low rarity cards, then it's really not worth the labor just to make a little money off it, Opening all of the packs organizing all my cards and listing all of the cards I want to sell on TCG Player or eBay took definitely multiple hours. So it's really not worth, making $2 an hour to list all of these cards. Now, the reason I got these tins is because the commons include 10E cards, Evil Eye cards, and Unchained cards, which are basically just 3 archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I like playing, and I was looking for cards from them so I could build a deck. Also, in real life, remember, I actually care about Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, so I kept some of the highest dollar cards. Like, I kept both of my Red Eyes Dark Dragoons, which are the most expensive cards in the set. But it's worth it for me because I got an expensive card at a way lower price, because I got it myself and I opened it myself. So, do I regret getting a case of the 2020 Megatins and trying to sell them? For me, absolutely not. It was actually one of the best decisions I made this year. Now remember, a lot of these prices are rounded down, and some of the estimations are working against my favor just to be realistic and account for some labor and effort and stuff like that. But in reality, I made a little more money than the rounding lets off. So for me, it was worth it because I basically got a whole case. I broke even just off of 10 tins. I still have a tin left over while keeping a bunch of the cards I wanted and not selling them. I have 2 new decks built largely off the cards in the tins. I got some cards that I've been looking for and waiting for a long time, and I sold the cards I don't really need, and I basically made my money back. So just off 10 tins, if I sold every single card I pulled from it, I pay off the whole case. So I basically get like 2 tins for free. But like I explained, I'm not selling all of the cards, I'm keeping some of them, but for me, they're valuable, and I basically made money rather than just trying to buy it individually. Now, a lot of work also went into this, and I have some experience selling cards, so if you're a new buyer and seller, I wouldn't really recommend doing this. But if you're experienced selling cards and know how it works, I think if you find a set that you really like, it's worth it to buy it pre-sale and, get it closer to wholesale prices, below retail. And then you can sell cards, and they basically end up being worth retail. For example, the 2020 tins retail at $20. I got them for less than $16. I'd say the value of the cards averaged around $20 per tin, so I'm basically making guaranteed $4 off every tin. And if I get really lucky with my cards and my pulls, it's even higher than that. Overall, I would not recommend this for most people. If you're experienced selling, I think you could do this whenever you have free time, like winter break or summer break if you're a college student. I basically did this in the beginning of the school year, so it wasn't as busy, but it definitely still took a lot of time, and I don't think it's worth all of the labor if you're just looking for money. For me, it was worth it because I got cards that I really wanted, and I basically broke even, and I'd say the labor was generally worth it, but only because I got a product that really appealed to me and was like exactly what I was looking for. So in summary, just to be clear, if you sell every single card or don't care about keeping some of the cards, you're 99% going to profit if you sell every single card. Even if the set or product that you bought from does slightly below average, you're still basically guaranteed profit if you sell all the cards. But the question is, are you willing to put in all of that labor and effort just for a couple dollars profit? For me, it was basically worth it only because, like I said, I got a bunch of cards I wanted and I was building decks around the lower rarity cards that I wasn't going to be able to sell anyway. But for most people, I don't think the labor is worth it. Regardless, it's up to the people watching to decide what's the best situation for them and if it's worth it. But here are the final numbers of my case. I basically spent $190, and the cards I got are well worth over $240. So all in all, I did have better value from the cards and had potential profit. Like I said, if I sold basically every high dollar card, factored in 15% for seller fees and shipping costs, my net profit is going to be like $50. Now let's see my actual profit from my personal situation where I decided to keep the high dollar cards. So I kept 2 of the Dragoons, which is the most expensive card in the set. I kept at least 1 of all the World Premiere cards, which are like 50 cents to $1. And then I basically kept all of the commons. I got a few of them off my hand. So overall, technically I lost some money, but the value that I got is more than what I paid for. If someone asks me how the investment went or how buying a case works and stuff, I'd basically tell them to simplify it that I broke even on the cards, but I basically got a bunch of really good free cards. So I'd say, I sold enough to break even and then just kept what I wanted, which to me is a really good deal if you're willing to put in the work and you value Yu-Gi-Oh cards like that. And just to be clear, if you don't care for the cards at all and are just trying to make money, then you'll definitely be able to make money buying cases and then selling cards, especially once you buy enough to get the really high dollar cards for sure. But to me, I'd rather just get a regular job and get paid more per hour. So, in conclusion, buying cases usually can be profitable. I wouldn't say it's worth the work, but it could definitely work as a side hustle. And if you're really into the game, just play competitively or frequently casually, then it's definitely worth it if you get the right sets that you like and have cards that you'd actually play. Overall, I'm really happy with my purchase, and if I knew I would get the same results, I'd definitely do it again. But for now, I'd probably only do it when I have free time because it is a lot of work to research, pack, open, organize, and then list all the cards. It can definitely work as a side hustle, and if you know what you're doing, you know you're going to get the margins better over time. But to me, I wouldn't say it can replace a part time or full time job. Anyway, that's basically all I have to share on my personal experience buying a case of the 2020 Megatins. I definitely plussed or was in the black or whatever you want to use for the terms. Made net profit if I sold all the cards. I kept some, got good value out of it. And so I think it's definitely something you can look into if you find a good set. My experience went well, but I did my research, and of course, there's always going to be some risk involved. If I got really bad cards, the story would be a little different. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions at all, feel free to comment them down below. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know how buying the case worked or what cards I pulled specifically. And like I said, you can watch previous videos to get a better idea of that. Thanks for watching again. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.